How often do you think about the Roman Empire? We're going to be talking about something that crosses my mind many times on a daily basis. That is the US doomed to follow the same fate as the Roman Empire? If you're like me, it comes to mind once or twice a day. As the middle class disappears, Americans are distracted by cheap fast food and hyped up shiny sporting coliseums as our country continues to crumble from within. Are these quick fix pacifications a parallel to how Roman emperors kept the people from realizing just how bad things actually were, whereas the empire met the end of its days? Roman civilization lasted from 753 BC to 476 AD, until the cracks in the foundation of arguably one of the world's most powerful superpowers began to dissolve from within. Roman culture had some of the strongest technological advancements of their age, with the engineering masterpiece of long-distance water filtration and aqueduct infrastructures, roadways. All roads lead to Rome was once a way of giving directions. Concrete buildings that lasted longer and were more resilient in battle. And the Roman Empire's strong understanding of military field medical equipment gave this empire a competitive edge to the rest of the world. So how did such a sprawling and dominating empire come to its end? Out of 147 emperors, 33 were assassinated by either strangulation, poisoning, sword and knife, stoning, or being quartered, by all four limbs being tied by a horse and torn apart. Some of them were beaten to death by mobs, let's be honest here. Debasement of the currency. In an effort to pay for the cost of maintaining this sprawling empire, the Romans started expanding its money supply. This sounds a little bit familiar. This was accomplished by clipping bits of gold from the coins in circulation and then using those scraps to make new coins. As a result, the coins kept getting smaller and smaller, and the plebs eventually began to catch on. The communication of corruption has now increased, and that is being seen here in America over the last few decades. As information flows more freely, truth becomes more available to the masses. By the way, we're waiting still to see that Epstein list. Any day now, Joe. A deep-seated division within the empire had notably led to a massive civil war in Rome with Pompey, where Julius Caesar rose victorious and became the first dictator in Rome in 45 BC and marked the death of what was known as the Roman Republic. Marcus Brutus didn't take too kindly to this new dictatorship and assassinated Caesar a year later, kicking off yet another civil war. In America, we are seeing a deep divide from the right to left, sown from mostly peaceful protests that the country's seen over the summer of love and Trump election. Looters and vandals are continuing to clear stores out, and a growing local movement to protect townships has become commonplace in rural communities as crime in city centers like San Francisco and New York continues to get worse and worse. Eventually, an invasion by German Goth Audacier, the fall of Rome marked the beginning of what is now called the Dark Ages. For America, we're being invaded at our border. A mainland invasion is highly unlikely in my opinion because the US still by far has the highest ratio of citizens to weaponry in the world. Rome's greatest chronicler, Edward Gibbon, warned in 1776 a similar fate awaits us if modern metropolises do not learn from Rome's mistakes. As major cities continue to erode, we need to turn our focus as a nation internally to rebuild this infrastructure and create more products domestically here in the US as to not bend the knee to China as production restrictions begin to arise in the game of sanctions arbitrage. Strong families create strong communities. Strong communities pave the way for a strong city and therefore a state. The strength of each state is the foundation of what makes the United States so very powerful. It's not too late to turn this around, but we need to lead by example and rebuild this country's foundation and values from the ground up.